She wants a young American. It's all right. She wants a young American.
Hundreds of people here celebrating David. All would like to hug him, but he's gone. What are your thoughts watching these crazy and wonderful people here?
Various thoughts. It's first off, we're talking about music from 50 years ago. This is ridiculous. There's that side of it. The other side of it is the amazement that it's lasted, and it's a great testament to what we did back then. We were making music for ourselves, and it's amazing the effect that it's had on other people, and still talking about it. It's incredible, and how into it they are. It's unreal.
Yes. When you first started with Bowie working, was it obvious to you that he was special?
When I first started working with him, I thought he was a sweetheart of a guy, not that talented.
Really?
Really.
Not that talented?
No, when I first started, now
Yeah.
that was on the Space Oddity album,
Yeah.
when I was just the engineer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until he came round, we'd discussed co-producing an album, which finished up being Hunky Dory. And he came round with Angie, his wife, and his publisher, Bob Grace. We were going through demos. It wasn't till then that suddenly I realized what a huge talent he was. And it's, in hindsight, I've seen how much more of a talent he was than I even appreciated back then, because his talent extends far from just a great singer, a great songwriter, all of that. Just his talent to picking the right team to work with, from musicians to producers, because for me, teamwork is what makes everything work. When you get a good team, you can't do anything wrong. And he had this knack for picking the perfect teams for what he wanted. And then the whole internet thing, and there were so many things about him that were amazing, that unlike so many other people.
Yeah, great. What is your most loved album of him?
What is?
Most loved album, most. Is there one?
Of the ones that I did with him?
Of all his records.
No, I'll stick to just the ones that I did with him, because then that's hard enough, but extending any further becomes even harder. For me, as an album, Ziggy is definitely, it stands together best as an album, all of the tracks together. There are individual tracks that I prefer on Hunky Dory and on Aladdin Sane, but they as albums don't hold together quite as well for me.
Yeah, okay, great. Did you stay in contact with him?
There was a long period of time when we completely lost contact, but then, interestingly enough, I was working with Duran Duran, and we were working on the Thank You album. Originally, I can't remember if it finished up being on the album or not. We were recording Diamond Dogs, and I was told that he wanted to sing on it, backup vocals, and I got a phone call from him during that period. And yeah, we stayed in contact a little from then on. It was that weird thing that one of the things was I would always email him on his birthday, primarily to remind him that he was 4 months older than me. And he would always respond back immediately. And that last time I emailed on his birthday and never heard back from him. And it was, he's forgotten about me, that's fine. And then 2 days later find out, oh, he's gone. Okay, that was why he didn't answer. So yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah. All right. My last question.
Okay.
To you. My first song ever was a single for my mother. I was a child, a little child. And on the B-side was the song I Am the Walrus from the Beatles. Cuckoo, cuckoo. I can't forget that. What was your part on that particular song?
I recorded the orchestra and choir and then mixed it.
Fantastic.
Oh, don't. It was, I had no idea what I was doing. I've had the greatest life. What can I say? It's remarkable.
Can you remember how you felt listening to that music? It was outer space.
Oh, I was a huge Beatles fan and elated to be working on it, but terrified as well because I was a young kid. I think when I started actually engineering, so it would have been at that point, I think I was 21, and I'd been working in the studio for 5 years at that point, but then I was promoted to engineer, and the first thing I'm ever put on is the Beatles and the Magical Mystery Tour. Just ridiculous. I was blessed.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
It's all right. She wants a young American.